Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about beginners' mistakes when they buy plants. And all of us, or at least some of us, were in a situation where we see beautiful plants, trending plants, tropical plants on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. And we just go ahead and we buy them and we want to have them. That's all we care about. So no matter how trendy you think a plant is or how good it will look in your house, you always have to keep in mind the environment the plant is to live in. You need to keep in mind the lighting conditions it likes. If you water it very well and you fertilize and you take care of it, but you don't give the light amount it needs, it will be dying on you. If a plant needs low light and you give it too much light, the plant will die on you. And here's a good example. When I bought this monstera, it was so pretty and it had the spots on it, so I really liked it. Unfortunately for me, I placed it in a corner where it didn't have enough light or humidity, and you can see what happened to all the leaves. The leaves are desperately curled and they are in that shape. So I had to change its lighting. After I changed its lighting, it gave me a new leaf, which looks totally different and better. And it's all for the same plant. So this plant I bought later, a huge plant. The leaves are over 2 feet and it has good lighting conditions. So you can see this is one of my last leaves. It's thriving. This is a new baby leaf and it's also thriving. So you need to make sure that when you buy a plant, you learn about what it likes. What type of water, what type of container, does it need humidity, what's the temperature it likes, and adhere to that. Another indoor plant care mistake is that people do get larger pots, or at least I did. I got way too large of a pot for this plant. I thought I'm gonna plant it in a larger pot so it's gonna grow faster and huger leaves, and instead I'm killing the plant. You can see, and that's the reason it is doing this is because the root system is probably until here somewhere, and then the rest is just wet soil that there's no roots to get the water, and it just stays there and it makes a lot of microbes and it causes root rot. So I have to repot this plant and I see if I can save it. Now versus this plant, it's in a smaller pot of larger leaves, a lot more bigger, larger leaves. So from here we're learning that if you want to repot your plants, give them maybe 2 inches more than the original pot. This huge pot is not gonna make your plant grow faster or bigger. It's actually gonna hurt your plant. Another mistake I made when I started to buy plants was that I was thinking to get beautiful pots, but I never thought of drainage. So this pot has no drainage. I also added pebbles at the bottom because I thought that's gonna help the plant. But when you think about it, what's gonna happen, the water is just gonna stay down here and make a lot of microbes, which will cause root rot, which we can see already signs of it. This plant also didn't grow new leaves. It didn't change at all since I bought it. Compared to this plant, which I bought a little bit later, but I did give it a pot that has drainage. So when you give drainage to the plant, the water that's extra doesn't stay in there and the plant can deal with it and it is not overwhelmed. So you can see that this is a stressed plant. This is not stressed. It continuously grows and gives a lot of new leaves and the leaves look good. So one mistake that should be avoided when you start plants, and if you already started, it's not too late to repot it. Make sure that you give them a pot with drainage. Another indoor plant care mistake is that tropical plants or your plants don't get the humidity they're used to. I had this alocasia elephant ear for more than 5 months now, and the leaves are always luscious and beautiful and healthy. And when the winter came and outside started to become colder, and I turned the heater on, the air got very dry. And these tropical plants, all the tropical plants, are very sensitive to dry air. So I know for sure that this is related to the humidity because uh, this plant is watered on schedule and it never had any issue. So I know for sure it's not root rot. And also another point is that when you look at the leaves, you can see that they develop these brown spots and they're crusty. They're crusty here. It's because it's very hard for them to deal with the dry air. And at the beginning, they were like this, small spots, and then they started to get bigger and bigger. So I started to search, make a research for the issue. I wanted to make sure I can stop it. I didn't want to lose this plant. It's my favorite plant, and I didn't want to lose it. So I started to do research, and it says that your plant probably doesn't have enough humidity if it doesn't have root rot. So I know for sure it doesn't have root rot. The plant looks very healthy. If you look at the base of the plant, it's like really, really healthy. It doesn't have any type of mushy or any type of spots like, will indicate that it has root rot, and it's watered on schedule, and it looks very good. I mean, it's healthy, it has the drainage it needs, doesn't have any pests, doesn't have anything. So I really take care of this plant because it's my first large plant. And as soon as I added the humidifier to this room, the browning stopped. Like the leaf doesn't develop anymore, yellowing and browning crusty spots. They just kind of stopped. It's like, when you are sick and then you start to do all the methods to take care of yourself, your symptoms get less and less. So when you buy a plant, always think about what type of environment was this plant grown in, and what type of environment this plant is used to in the wild. And for tropical plants, exotic plants, humidity is very important. Another indoor plant care mistake for beginners is that they bring home a plant and it dies on them and they just throw it to garbage. So I bought this plant, it was low light, and I added to a space where it had low light. I thought it's gonna be good to have it there, but I didn't like the environment, so it died on me. And what I did, I cut all the leaves, everything that was dead, and I left the healthy parts on. I moved it to a more lighted, heavy lighted, I would say heavy lighted place. And right now you can see that with patience, I've got 2 leaves, and I have one small right here getting up. So you have to have patience. You have to give your plant a chance to survive.